Hi, it's Alaska Granny. If you have sourdough starter, one of the challenges can be keeping it alive, continuing to feed it when you don't have a lot of time or perhaps you're going on a trip. My family has a sourdough starter. It's been in our family for decades. Our sourdough starter has been in our family so long he has a name. It's Doan. Several generations have continued to use it, but one of the challenges is everyone doesn't always have the time. What can you do to preserve your sourdough if you don't have time to use it? You can dry it. It's a very simple process. Before you dry your sourdough, you want to make sure that it's extra lively. I always feed it 2 times, 12 hours apart, and then I make sure that the bubbles look nice and full. Now I'm going to dry it. I take a baking sheet, cover it with a layer of parchment paper, and spread out half of my sourdough starter as thinly as possible on the parchment paper. Then you just leave it alone, let it dry. It can take from 1 day to several days depending on the temperature and the humidity in your home. If it's dark winter and it's super cold, you can open your oven so that just the light is on and insert the tray and just leave it to dry in the oven with the light on. That can help keep it warmer and drier if you are having problems with it drying fast enough. I take the other half of the sourdough starter and I place it in the back corner of the refrigerator. Your sourdough starter can live in your refrigerator for weeks at a time. Try to remember to occasionally get it out, drain off any dark liquid, which would be the hooch, and then feed it again, and you can even place it back in your refrigerator. And then I've just left this out on the counter overnight and it's completely dry. You can see now I can easily pull it up. It's crunchy, crackly, dry, and I can store it in a clean jar. Put on the lid and store it in the pantry. I could take some with me and share it with a family member. Your dried sourdough starter can live in your pantry for years. When you want to use some, take it out, put it in a bowl and cover it with warm water. Then allow it to rehydrate, and it can take several hours. Then just allow it to rehydrate, and once it's all smooth and creamy again, stir it a few times so you break up all the chunks. Then you can begin to feed it again. Then you should feed it probably 2 or 3 times until it's ready and bubbly and ready to start using again. You can really see that it'll come back to life and you'll have a great time beginning to use your sourdough starter again. Make sure that you use unbleached or whole wheat flour when you're using your sourdough. I feed my sourdough starter with whole wheat flour, and that has worked for me for many, many years. Sourdough starter is a great thing to have in your prepper pantry. You can use it to make breads, you can use it to make pancakes. There's lots of different uses for it. And if you learn to dry your starter properly, you can have some put away in your long-term food storage so that you can continue to make bread that you want whenever the need arises. You don't need to worry that you maybe don't have any yeast. You can get out some of your dried sourdough starter and get your bread going again. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.